Good evening, all. So, continuing with our conversation on battling these voices, and as well, just carrying on with daily living and the battles of daily living for people who are suffering from their own internal issues or afflictions caused from the outside world, or caused by God, or caused by nature, or caused by oneself, right? Um, so today the conversation is on fasting, the concept of fasting, right? The concept of fasting. And but before I want to go into that, on one of the last mechanisms of dealing with these voices and battling these voices and stuff, um, tune into some spiritual slash religious music of another language than that which you were brought up in, right? So if you grew up chanting Sanskrit syllables in Hinduism, whatever, right? Tune into some Quranic recitation and vice versa, right? Something different from that which you're accustomed to. Like I was talking about reading a book that's different from that which you're accustomed to, right? Tune into something that's different from that which you know, right? So another language, right? Religion. You learn at the same time. You learn as well as you are exposed to sound vibrations. The sound vibrations and this thing has a healing effect as well, right? So rather than the typical type of music you like to listen to, I'm talking about battling the voices. If you're experiencing these things, right? Anxieties, depression, all these things, and voices that come with that. If people are hallucinating, psychosis, whatever it is, mental health disorders, as they call it, right? So tune into something different from that which you're accustomed to, right? Change it up, switch up your regular thing, right? Switch up that which you are accustomed doing, right? And I've been given these tips, and these tips have been helpful to me, right? And it is the hope that it is helpful to you as well if you are going through these things. So it is all in an attempt to help each other heal from past issues, current issues, and prevent future similar issues from reoccurring, right? So the concept today we want to talk about is fasting, and what exactly is fasting, right? What exactly is fasting? And for we talking from an experiential perspective, not I don't have the will to just go and look in a dictionary or Google what fasting means, right? What is fasting, right? Fasting from an experiential perspective, or what you know, or common sense perspective, what is fasting? Fasting is just the abstinence, refraining from abstaining from something, right? Refraining from something that you like, something that you enjoy, something that you find pleasure in, right? Abstaining from some worldly thing that you find pleasure in, right? That is essentially what fasting means, is a temporary abstinence, right? You're not doing it all your life, right? Is that for a temporary period you are abstaining from that something that you, whatever it is, right? That you find pleasure in, right? And what are some of the things that you can abstain from, right? So people think fasting might be only, oh, you abstain from food, you abstain from water, whatever, right? There are several things that you could abstain from that assist you, or as some people say, for the benefit of a higher power, for the benefit of God, Allah, Shiva, Ram, Krishna, whoever, right? Whoever it is that you are giving your energy to, whatever name of God by which you are giving that energy to, that is, right? Because God is one, we refer to it by different names, right? So whatever that energy is that you are giving your, whatever that vibration is that you are giving yourself to, right? So there are different types of fasting. You can fast, yes, from food, from water. You can also abstain from sexual activity, right? Abstain from alcohol, cigarettes, caffeine, so on. These are stimulants, right? Stimulants. Some People have done research showing that caffeine and stuff has a positive effect. For some, it depends on your body, right? For some, like for me, that tends to raise my anxiety, right? So I don't consume caffeine often. So you have to know your body and what basically affects your body negatively, positively, in whatever way, right? So um in cases like that, if you're similar to me, abstain from caffeine if you have those anxiety issues and so on, right? Alcohol, cigarettes, these things. uh, Abstaining from technology, right? So this is a very technological driven society, right? Today, this contemporary society is a technologically driven society, right? So you want to abstain from for a bit, right? Probably take down your Facebook profile for a bit, take down your TikTok profile for a bit. Not referring to people who are using these things for business purposes. Something is different, right? But I'm talking about the mindless scrolling, right? To assist you with that if you want assistance for those things, right? Withdraw yourself or pleasure seeking or whatever it is that you do on the internet that might be impacting you negatively, right? Withdraw yourself from that, right? All your incognito mode stuff and whatever, right? Withdraw yourself from that. Withdraw yourself from social media a bit, right? And spend time with yourself, right? So fasting from social media. So does social media, Facebook and so on, you are living in a different reality. You're living in a virtual reality for people who spend, and same thing with YouTube and stuff. We are living in a virtual reality, right? So the idea is to just withdraw ourselves from this a bit fast. Sometimes switch off your phone, these things, right? These things can assist you, right? Fasting from your own selfish desires, which is all of this is included, right? So this could be a person, thing, place, situation, movie, whatever it is, right? Fasting from something that you desire, or the concept of I want this, or I want this person, or I want this, or I want this now, right? So that's why we're bringing patience into this scenario, right? Abstaining from, fasting from the I want, right? Fasting from that I want, right? So deflating the ego a little bit, fasting from the I want, and I want it now, right? So that, another thing is, you can fast from animal flesh, and this is something that I have been advocating for from time immemorial, right? You don't have to spend your whole life doing it. Take a portion of your time, because it all ties into the concept of violence and restricting ourselves from this violent mindset, right? Restraining a violent mindset, right? So violence against animals is something that's all big on my moral agenda from time immemorial, since I know myself, right? So that's something you can fast from animal flesh, right? Fast from eating animals, slaughtering animals, or you can watch my previous videos for how I feel about those things and so on, right? Animal products, you can withdraw yourself for a period from animal byproducts, cheese, dairy, milk, right? All of these things, honey, so on. Temporary withdrawal, fasting, right? Fasting from these things. So that's all. That's a lot of these things is physical, right? So then we want to deal with stuff that could help cleanse us internally, right? Fasting from watching how we speak, right? So cursing and so on. So if we are accustomed, like me, right, cursing and rah 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 carrying on, right, and whoever else, right? If we are accustomed doing these things, right, we want to limit that, right? Because all of that is energy, right? You are expending energy out into the universe, and some of you have very powerful energies, right? Have powerful energies, and when you speak certain things, right? When we speak certain things, when you speak certain things, and how you speak certain things, it changes up how the environment functions, right? So we want to withdraw ourselves from the use of these types of language, right? Use it if it's necessary to do it in a circumstance, and you have a appropriate reason to do it in a circumstance, by all means. But recognize when it's a bit overboard. Recognize when it's unnecessary to do so. Pull back yourself, withdraw yourself. Ask yourself, is this, in this circumstance, necessary for me to behave in this manner, right? So all of these things are ways of fasting, ways of restraining our behavior, right? And we do this for the sake of betterment, right? For the sake of betterment, right? Betterment of society, betterment of self, right? People would say it's for the sake of God, for the sake of the name of your God, for the sake of Allah, whoever, for the sake of Shiva, for the sake of whatever, right? So doing it for the sake of, so it's not, it is a selfless thing, right? The concept of fasting, in whatever way you fast, is a selfless endeavor, right? It is a selfless endeavor. Fasting, in whatever means you choose to fast, however you choose to fast, right, is a selfless endeavor, right? And by the selfless endeavor are all things maintained. So the universe is in fact sustained by our selfless actions, right? The universe is maintained or sustained by our selfless actions, right? Whatever ways we choose to be selfless in our motive, the universe is sustained or maintained by our selfless actions, right? Whether that selfless action be withdrawing ourselves from certain actions, or that selfless action be doing something in the universe that is beyond ourselves, loving somebody beyond ourselves, right? Doing something to show our love for somebody or the environment or whatever it is, beyond ourselves, beyond how it looks for me, beyond that, beyond whatever, right? Or withdrawing ourselves from something that is pleasurable, so that other people can learn, or other people can benefit spiritually and evolve and grow themselves as well, right? So fasting could be done too for your own health, right? So and as a, well, both selfish reasons, right? But for your own health, it can be done as well. Fasting could be done as a form of understanding, right? So you want to understand different people, different cultures, different environments, right? You say, let me put myself in this person's shoes. Let me put myself in this person's shoes, and for a period of time, just withdraw myself from doing certain things, so I understand how that culture functions. I understand how that operates. I understand, why people do this, why people don't do that, right? So it's a form of understanding, right? And furthermore, understanding what it feels like to be without something, right? Understanding what it feels like for a period of time, right? To be in the position of somebody else, because there's always somebody in a lesser position than you, there's always somebody in a higher position than you materially, and so on, right? So understanding for a little period in life what it feels, and this is a heart-centered approach, right? For a period of time in your life, putting yourself in the shoes of somebody else to say, hey, I understand what it means to not have this, right? I understand what it means to not to go through this. I understand what it means to go through this, or I understand what it means to not have this, right? And that gives understanding, and that is a form of connecting people, right? We connect on our basis, right? We connect on the basis of, hey, I understand what you're going through. Hey, I going through that same thing too. Hey, I understand what you're going through. Hey, I went through that same thing too, right? So it's a form of connecting, a form of understanding, and this cut through cultures, traditions, time, space, all these things, right? It's something that cuts through that understanding, cuts through time, space, circumstances, people, types of people, ethnicities, race, gender, everything, right? So fasting, last point, right? Fasting could be done to understand your own self, right? You want to understand your whole self. So this will all these teachings, all these points that I'm given from since the video Speak, right, which I said was, well, which I recommended that you watch from the video Speak, right, a little lower down from this video, right. All of these points that I've been given is points from to help you from a physical, mental, spiritual, emotional perspective, points to help you from all these angles, right? A holistic approach, and it's a healing approach, holistic approach to healing yourself, right, without all of these external dramas and so on, right, whether that dramas be family, friends, professionals, whatever, right, is a holistic internal approach. The points I'm given, right. So you choose whatever mechanism you want to abstain from, and choose something that you like, right, because if you abstain from something that you don't like, you're not really fasting, right. You abstaining from something that you do not like means that you are not really fasting, right. So take something that you like and withdraw yourself from that for a period of time, right. Take care everybody, have a good evening.